The Pacers are going to the frickin' finals. Put my teeth on the curb and step on the back of my head.
We've been hating on them all season.
This is horse crap that this poverty franchise is going to the finals before mine.
GMLB family, welcome back to another episode of Good Morning Let's Basketball. I am your host, Mike Miles, aka Six Figure Mike, also known as the biggest pill swallower on the pod, because as a Celtics fan, fellas, it is going to be a hard one to get through, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Above me is Big Macedonia and GMLB's Chief of Security. That's main event Kev. Kev, what's up?
House on the lake. I don't even know how to swim. Darn.
Never fails to amaze me with the intros. Also above me is the founder of GMLB and the brains of the operation. That's Slick Vic. Vic, what's up, man?
Doing good, man. How we doing, fellas?
Not good. Not good. Not good
Yeah,
at all,
should I
actually.
have asked?
Yeah, it's been a tough couple days for me. The good news is I've never went harder in the gym through the pain than I did 2 nights ago. But as always, GMLB family, we thank you for tuning in to another episode of Good Morning Let's Basketball, and let's just jump right into it here. Fellas, let's start with the lottery. The NBA lottery took place a couple nights ago, and we saw the absolute housing of the Utah Jazz take place. But real quickly, before we get into some lottery stuff, I'm just going to go through the lottery order, and just so we're all on the same page here. So, number one, the first pick of the draft went to the Dallas Mavericks. Second pick went to the Spurs. Third pick, the 76ers. Fourth, the Hornets. Fifth, the Jazz. Sixth, the Wizards. Seven, Pelicans. Eight, Nets. Nine, Raptors. 10, Rockets. Who cares after that? I guess I'll throw in number 12 was the Bulls since we have a couple Bulls fans on the pod. Um, but yeah, we're not even going to touch on those picks down there because they're unfortunately at that point you're just hoping for a steal, or if you're the Bulls, you're hoping for Patrick Williams for some reason. But fellas, do the Mavericks deserve the first pick? This is the age-old question, and by age-old I mean 3-month-old question. They trade Luka Doncic. They receive Cooper Flagg, assuming Nico Harrison is going to draft Cooper Flagg. Is this an NBA conspiracy? Fellas, what do we think?
Definitely up there. I mean, we've seen it before with Cleveland getting the number one pick when LeBron came out, D Rose to Chicago, Ewing to the Knicks. There's probably 50 million other instances you can think about. Did they deserve it? No. I mean, like what you said, the absolute housing of the Jazz. The Wizards, Jazz, and Hornets don't even have top three picks.
That's
But
insane.
the thing is, Adam Silver hates tanking teams. So this is I think he might have finagled with it a little bit. I remember seeing somebody like a month ago saying that like the four worst teams in the NBA at the end of the season should have a tournament for the number one pick.
I like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think that you just take the four teams with the highest odds in the lottery. Because how do they do it right now? The three teams with the worst record all get a 14% chance. I think that's how they do it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think any of them got it. Who actually won the lottery. I think this year it was the Jazz, Wizards, and Spurs had the highest odds
It
at
was
getting it.
Pelicans
Pelicans,
instead of
yes.
Spurs.
It was Pelicans. But yeah, I mean, the fact that the Jazz, the Hornets, or the Wizards don't have a top three pick is actually criminal. And I know when Cooper Flagg saw that the Sixers got the third pick, he goes, bro, I'm either going to Dallas or San Antonio. Sick. Like
No better book
genuinely.
a flight. Book
Yeah.
a flight to Texas.
So lucky. For the last few months, we thought like, oh, bro's going to the Jazz or the Wizards. He's playing with Markkanen or Alex Sarr. No, you're playing with Kyrie and AD.
Or
Yeah.
like Wembenyama, like a generational talent. And Chris Paul, like,
Chris
bro.
Paul.
He's set.
Fox. De'Aaron
Also,
Fox is there. I forget that sometimes.
also he's gonna have no income tax either.
This is true. This is true.
Dude,
Yeah,
when I was watching that draft live or like the draft lottery live, man, they were going through it quick. The picks were coming so fast. And then I saw the sixth pick land to the Wizards, and I was like, no way. And then the fifth went to the Jazz. I was like, bro, are the Spurs or like 76ers really about to get Cooper Flagg? And then the Mavericks ended up getting them. And I know Nico Harrison probably got all that weight lifted off his shoulders from the fire Nico and everything. Bro's gonna keep his job now. I think his job was probably on the line as of next season, seeing how that team would perform. But now he just got a freaking he just dodged a bullet with that Cooper Flag sweepstake.
what scares me is that he can still so totally mess this up and not draft Cooper Flag or trade it for something weak. A lot of people are buzzing that I don't think this is possible. I think it's just because like he's the number one pick. People have been like, oh, Giannis is going to Dallas. It happened because Milwaukee, like they're going to want Flag. And I was like, all right, let's relax a little bit here. There's salaries and a million other things you have to acquaint for this. Let's just not automatically assume he's going to Dallas. Let's relax. But
Yeah, Patrick
good for
Dumont.
Dallas.
Patrick Dumont came out and said that they're going to draft Cooper Flag. They're not going to trade the pick.
You can't.
My thing is like this reminds me of last year where the Pistons had what 14 wins and they got the fifth pick and got stuck with Ron Holland. It was like the thing is though is they weren't tanking like the Jazz, the Hornets, and kind of the Wizards. They were just like bad,
Yeah.
and they still got screwed in the lottery. So
Had you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the lottery's a fun time. I mean, Houston has the 10th pick. They were the second seed, which is insane. You talked about that a little bit. And OKC has the 15th pick.
yeah, I was about to say, I was like, where's OKC at? Like
And they're
everyone was
about to
buzzing.
go. They're a game away from going to the conference finals, and they almost had a lottery pick. They were one pick out of the lottery.
Yeah. The thing with that is that like Nikola Topic is still just sitting on the bench. They're developing their draft picks behind the scenes still. We haven't even seen their draft picks. So this one could just be another guy that they're waiting to replace Aaron Wiggins or Isaiah Joe with, pretty much.
I think they got the
they're,
most
they're
picks
just cooking
till.
on the bench.
I think they got the most picks till 2031.
That would make sense. The way people talk about Sam Presti housing picks, that would not surprise me. But the Spurs, I mean, I'm not the biggest college guy. I know Ron Harper and Ace Bailey are supposed to be consensus top 5 picks. Kev, you're more of the college guy. Who do you see fitting the pairing of the core of Fox, Castle, and Wemby? What does it look like?
For the sake of also it's Dylan Harper. Not to be that
You
guy.
know what I meant, bro.
But
You know what I meant. I told you
because
I'm
no,
not
you
a
had me
college
thinking
guy.
about it. It was like, is it Ron Harper? And I was like,
Isn't
nah,
it
Ron
Ron
Harper
Harper's
played in that.
son though?
I don't know.
It is
I
Ron
I'm
don't
pretty
know.
Harper's
sure.
son.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saved. I'm saved. You know, easy mistake.
Lucky guess. But I think the Spurs should go with Ace Bailey. I mean, they played on the same team this year. Obviously, they both came out of Rutgers. Ace Bailey's like 6'10", can pretty much do everything there is you could possibly do on offense. Dylan Harper's a guard, and that's just like not what they need. They have Chris Paul, they have Fox, they just got Fox, and they have Castle. What they don't have is a 3 or a 4. They have Harrison Barnes, but you could
Yeah.
replace that with a dude who can be a top player in the league at the next like 5 to 10 years. He's really
Pretty
good.
much a rookie Harrison Barnes, kind of like how Harrison Barnes was, right? For the Warriors.
I would
That's
hope slightly
Bailey's
better.
game. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
in
he
a
was
way.
good. He was good.
He was good, but he's so much more talent than Harrison
Okay.
Barnes at that age. Like a lot more. But
Yeah.
I would hope they go with Ace Bailey. It makes sense that they would go with him.
Yeah,
And I
they
think
don't.
he's better.
Yeah, they don't need Dylan Harper, man. They already have Stephon Castle off the bench, and then De'Aaron Fox. But one thing I wanted to mention about Ace Bailey was I don't know if you guys saw it. He was measured at 6'10" in the Rutgers, or like they listed him at 6'10", sorry, and then he got measured at the combine and he came in at 6'7.5".
He never struck me as a guy. I've watched one Rutgers game. All right, one Rutgers game. Full transparency here. If you told me that guy was 6'10", I would tell you you're lying. He like listing him at 6'10" is crazy. Even me, who like does not follow college ball, knows that he was not 6'10". Unless he's wearing 3-inch soles. You never know.
I still believe Wemby's like 7'6".
My thing is, so that leaves if Dylan Harper is the consensus third pick guard, that leaves the Sixers to take Dylan Harper. And obviously, that's not going to save the train wreck that's going on in Philadelphia right now. But they also have McCain coming back, and they have Maxey. They have their like core guards. So what's the verdict on that? Do you think they trade down maybe? What do you think they should do?
Um, I would
I don't
say
think they should trade down. They'll probably end up keeping that pick. There's another player in this draft that's pretty good out of Baylor. His name's VJ Edgecombe, and
I've
he's
heard
good,
that
but I
name.
think he's a guard too. It's
that
like the
dude's a
next,
beast.
like he is a beast. The next like best options available in the draft, unfortunately, are guards,
Mm.
which sucks unless they could draft the center from Duke, Kamen Maluak, because they might need a center if Embiid is forced to medically retire. I guess they could have him there. But I mean, either way, they're getting a great player, but like it just sucks that the one thing they do have is guards.
Yeah.
They got
It's
great guards. They got a
it's
one and two.
they also still have Eric Gordon on the roster as well. Reggie Jackson get traded at the deadline? I'm not sure if he's still there. Kyle Lowry's still there. They have a lot of guards. They have a lot of veteran guards on their team. That's
Yeah.
interesting now that I'm thinking about that. Uh, and forgive me if one of those guys got traded. It's been a while since I've peeped this 76ers roster, but um, my thing here is it's almost a complete reversal of what happened or what their situation was about a decade ago, where they had Joel Embiid, Jaleel Okafor, and Nerlens Noel. They just kept drafting centers. Then they drafted a 6'8" point guard and Ben Simmons. It's like, why do we have so many big guys on this team?
So yeah, friggin' Philly might have more point guards or guards in general than the Bulls right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Shout out Dalen Terry. But yeah, I just feel bad for the Jazz, man. Danny Ainge finally made a mistake. Spent all season absolutely tanking, starting Isaiah Collier, occasionally Keontae George, just to get the fifth pick. What a screw job, man. That sucks.
Yeah, it seems like the ethical tanking is like the move where you're kind of like a playing team
Mm.
because the Mavericks were a playing team. Um, who else was there another
The
playing team?
Hawks last year.
Was the Spurs?
No, the Spurs were not a playing team.
Can't remember. But yeah, but I do like that idea Kevin said where the top four team or bottom four teams should play in a tournament for the number one pick. That would be interesting. And I think if they do that, they should get rid of the play-in tournament because I'm not a fan of the play-in tournament.
So the thing with that is like, if there's truly a significantly worse team in the league than the other teams, they're gonna lose that tournament every time. Like they'll never get the first pick. So I don't think that really solves the issue. Like you put the 14-win Detroit Pistons in a series against the bottom four teams, I think they lose. And that's different than this year's Pistons, obviously, but just a hypothetical scenario, they'd lose and then they don't get the first pick. That's still like giving better odds to the better teams.
Yeah.
It'd be a one and done. I think having them play series would be a little ridiculous, but I don't know. It just makes it more competitive. See what teams are truly worthy of actually getting that pick or not. It would be something different. And I
Mm.
think that's kind of what a lot of people are kind of looking for right now with the league, especially the casual viewers.
Or even just like get like lottery balls like that you see on TV, like that just like shoot up a number, but instead just shoot up a team. Because like, how is the order even like picked? I just saw him like flipping through these cards.
It's picked off screen. They don't do it on screen anymore, as far
Oh,
as I know.
that.
They do it off screen and reveal it is the show. But my thing that I think would work is give the bottom five teams guaranteed top five picks, and then you lottery that order. I think would be the best move there. So like the bottom five teams are guaranteed a top five pick. It could be one, it could be five, because that keeps the teams from racing to be the worst team, but they still are guaranteed a top pick for finishing that low, if that makes sense.
Mhm. I don't know.
Still find a way to get messed up.
1.8 chances sounds a little fishy.
Yeah, 1.8% chance for the Dallas Mavericks to get the first pick.
And it
Now
was a
you have a
coin
core. Oh, go ahead.
it was a coin flip that they lost or that they won against the Bulls. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy. Cooper Flagg wouldn't look good in red, though. Let's be honest.
You're a hater, man.
You guys got Matas Buzelis. That's basically Walmart Cooper Flagg. You guys will be all right. um, yeah. What are the chances that Cooper Flagg's a bust, though? Do you guys think he'll live up to the hype?
Oh yeah. I don't think there's any chance that he'll be a bust.
I think he'll be good. I mean, watching his college games, he was just so much better than everybody else. Like it's pretty clear. Like we already know where he's going. That he's going number one. It's kind of hard to say that he is. Well, I don't want to say that, but I think he's going to be pretty good. He already got the co-sign from a lot of NBA legends and current stars that he can actually play. Obviously, doing his thing with Team Select, I think he'll be pretty good.
Hey, Kevin Garnett gave Thon Maker a cosign for an MVP candidate in the future. Anything's possible.
Well, have you ever seen Kevin Garnett try to pronounce equivalent?
Checkmate. I can't
I
even
was
argue with that.
I was talking about people with brains here.
Yeah, checkmate. That was a good one. I can't lie, that was a good one. Can you guys tell I'm trying to stall so that we don't have to talk about our next topic here?
I was actually going to move it on for us.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm taking too long when you take the lead and move us on. I'll do the honors here. Uh so the Boston Celtics. Tatum ruptures his Achilles in game 4. Celtics go down 3-1. Game 5 is on as we speak. I have decided not to watch it because I don't know how I can cope as a Celtics fan seeing the team without Tatum out there. Where do we even want to start with this? Because there's a lot to unpack. Let's start here. Let me land this plane. Do we think Boston can first off win tonight? Second off, force it to 7. Third off, win the series. What do you think is the most realistic outcome?
So they're up 2 points right now. Oh, Peyton Pritchard just lost the ball in a fast break. Um, and they
Tie.
win tonight. Yeah, they can definitely win tonight. They're in Boston, which I guess isn't saying much considering they folded the first 2 games. But there's still a series that has to be played, regardless if Tatum is there or not. Can they win tonight? Yeah. Can they win the series? I don't know. They're going to have to piece together 3 straight wins without their best player against a Knicks team that's pretty hot and has a lot of confidence. So it'll be tough for me to say yes.
Some people say I'm optimistic. Some people say I'm pessimistic, but I like to say I'm realistic. And I honestly think that this series is over tonight. I think the Knicks are going to close it. I do not believe that the Celtics will come back or even win tonight. Um, just the just how brutal that injury was, seeing your star player go down like that, I think was just tough for the whole team to see. And then just how the Knicks have been battling this series and really getting underneath Boston's skin and really pushing this series close within the last couple minutes of the game for them to be up and then just demoralizing the team. I just think Boston's crushed at this point.
Yeah. My prediction for this series, I don't think they'll lose in TD. I think they'll rally as a team for Tatum. I think they'll push it to 7 and lose in game 7. Um, on their home floor, I think is the realistic outcome. Because there's still so much talent on this roster. Starters to bench unit, like first guy to ninth guy. So much talent. Without Tatum, we still have Drew Holiday. We still have Jaylen Brown. We have the Finals MVP. We have the best defensive guards in the league. We have Kristaps Porzingis. And forgive me for saying we. I'm not on the team. The Celtics have Kristaps Porzingis. One of the best. I know he's not having a great series and he's dealing with the illness, but this team really can rally. We have the sixth man of the year. We just have the guys to still win this series. The problem is the Celtics should be up 3-1. It should not be down 3-1. This team has built 20-point leads in almost every game and has given up the lead with minutes left in the fourth. It's honestly kind of ridiculous that we have to sit here and even have this conversation that they've lost when they technically haven't lost yet. It was just such a winnable series, and I think that's the hardest part. Not only did we lose Tatum to a ruptured Achilles, one of the worst injuries in basketball, in a game that you can argue, but in my opinion, was decided, in a series where we should have won. It's just so demoralizing as a Celtics fan, and I know the league has rallied around Tatum as well, which makes the team probably feel better, but makes me selfishly as a Celtics fan feel a lot better that he's getting some kind of sympathy and respect from other players. But it's so hard to deal with, man. It sucks.
So they can still win. So what you're saying is Jaylen Brown's better.
That is not at all what I said.
If they do win, is Jaylen Brown better?
No, no, not even close. I get where you're
If they
going.
win the finals, is Jaylen Brown better?
See, here's the thing with that. I don't think Jaylen Brown alone as a player is better. I think the team's dynamic would have shifted to a point because this series, especially, I'm sure you guys have seen, the Celtics are playing, forgive me again, the Celtics are playing so much isolation basketball, especially in the fourth quarter in crunch time. And that's pretty much what's costing them this game or these games. I think, honestly, without having our most ball dominant player, obviously it's a plus having him on the floor, but this shift in dynamic could move the defense a lot more than the previous gravity of Jayson Tatum. And we could see like some surprise game 5 and 6 wins just because the Knicks need time to adjust to that. And of course, I already predicted it would inevitably end in game 7, but like that shift is assuming they don't lose tonight. I'm not watching the game, so I can't really decide right now what's happening with Jaylen Brown as the primary ball handler, but that's kind of what I'm feeling with that. So Brown isn't better, but the team's movement of the ball and offensive chemistry might be just a little better without having the ball dominance of Tatum.
I mean, the way I see it, they won without him. That's 300 million you just saved. You
You
can
want
get
to hear?
Aldama.
I was talking to someone in our GMLE Discord earlier, and I kind of think so. We can get into what exactly the future outlook of the Celtics is because some people say the championship window's closed and trade all the assets. Others say we don't have to do that. You know, the Celtics could just rebuild. Um, the thing here is Jayson Tatum is likely, if everything goes perfectly well with rehab, he'll be back in probably January. Now, that's not realistic. He'll most likely, earliest he'll be back is probably March with the Achilles injury, if he even comes back next season. So my thing is Jaylen Brown, right? Some people are rallying to just trade Jaylen Brown, rebuild the team for Tatum's comeback. I don't like that idea for obvious reasons, but Jaylen Brown has always wanted to be the top guy on this team, right? He's the finals MVP. He's already earned some kind of reward for being the top guy when it matters most. So we're going to go a full season of seeing Jaylen Brown with the basketball as the primary ball handler. As a Celtics fan, I've watched more Celtics games than any other team, obviously. I will tell you that this is good, but for the wrong reasons. Because Jaylen Brown being the primary ball handler means we're going to lose games and we're going to get a top draft pick. And it also means Jaylen Brown is going to destroy his trade value, which means we're forced to keep him, which means he remains the second option. Now, you could call that correlation, you could call that causation. I don't care. That's the outlook for me. Either way, Jaylen Brown is going to remain on the Celtics, and we're going to get a high draft pick next season.
Yeah. If you trade anybody, trade the injured guy. Don't trade the healthy guy. That's stupid. Trade the injured dude. That's dumb.
Imagine they pull like a trade KD situation, tears his Achilles, just trade Tatum. Imagine.
So you gotta go, boss.
Would that be
But
worse than the Luka trade? You think if that happened?
yeah, because he actually won them a title, and then
Yeah.
they just kicked him when he's down.
Is it really though?
Yes, it's 500 million% worse.
I would say
But
it's worse.
So much worse.
You don't know how he's going to come back after that injury. That's a tough injury.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you still you kicked them. You kicked the man when he was down.
Yeah, I mean, I see it from that, but like I as a GM, like I would be worried how he's going to be coming back. So that's where I'm saying like, okay, it might be more understandable to trade an injured guy versus I mean, I guess Luka was injured too. Now
Well,
that
this is
I'm thinking about it.
first off, Tatum tore his Achilles in a game where he had 42, 8, and 4. This man gave everything. And I'm not saying that you have to keep this guy and pay this guy because of what he did for the city, but the GM is Brad Stevens. This is a lot different than Nico Harrison, who did not like Luca, who was upper management's puppet to trade Luca. This is Brad Stevens. This is a guy who coached Tatum, who helped in the process of drafting Tatum, who developed Tatum, who has a very, very tight relationship with Tatum. And like, this isn't Marcus Smart we're talking about here. This is Jayson Tatum. So I think he's fine. Like, I don't even think it's realistic for them to trade Tatum, but
No, it's.
that makes it
It was
even
just
more impossible.
I see a lot of people saying this too. The Celtics, no one's getting traded or bounced. You guys were just in the finals and had something absolutely horrible happen. We can't make any big, massive moves that are just going to shift the future of this team. Like, Brown's not going anywhere. Tatum's not going anywhere. It's going to be fine. I think Tatum is going to return and still be great, obviously. Now, there's a lot of people that don't, sure. But there's a good amount of people that have. Westbrook came back perfectly fine. KD came back even better,
Did Westbrook
damn near.
Westbrook tore his Achilles?
Remember the Pat Bev injury
I
when
can't
he like
remember.
went for the ball? This was years ago when he
This
like
wasn't that was an Achilles injury.
is an
Interesting.
Achilles or an ACL?
I do remember that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So KD tore his Achilles and then statistically put together some of his best seasons. It's possible. I don't think this dude's gonna come back and be trash. Like that's just like no, he's too good for that. He's too talented for that. The issue is he gonna be prone to more injury when he does come back? That's gonna happen if they rush it. I think he shouldn't come back until March next year. That's my guess. If he comes back in January, that's way too soon. People usually don't come back within 8 months, excuse me, of an Achilles tear. The only way you can do that is if you like go to Colombia and get the stem cell surgery. They don't even do that in America. That's what fighters do. That's how I know what that is. But like that's like the only situation you can like come back in 8 months. And you're still not fully healthy. It's a big risk. So as long as they don't rush it, take next season, probably be like a mid-level seed in the East. That's fine. Probably not even mid-level. They could still be they could still be a top 4 seed, top 3
Yeah.
seed. But like no, like it's not the end of the world here. It sucks in the moment. Sucks eggs, but it's just you got to deal with it.
Yeah, I think the only person who came back the fastest was Aaron Rodgers, and it was probably because he was on psychedelics. But to be honest, man, I don't think they should rush him, like you guys said. Even dude, even if he misses the whole season, I think that's perfectly understandable. Not rush him back, get him physically prepared for it, and then also mentally prepared. For Tatum having like this is the biggest injury of his career, and when players get injured, man, that mental battle is sometimes tough to get over that hump. So you want to have him take his time coming back.
I actually think that with this injury, our championship window with this current team has closed. I think this offseason they move off Drew and Porzingis and potentially Horford. I think the only people that are safe are Pritchard, Brown, Tatum, and Derek White. Because the Celtics are one of the highest luxury tax teams. We're paying the luxury tax, and it's simply not worth it for a team without their star player who's going to be Kevin, you said probably finishing high. It depends what they get for those trades. Um, but this window is done. Drew Holiday has come off one of his worst seasons of his career, especially in these twilight years where he's been so good. Porzingis is averaging 7 points in this series right now. He's playing horrible. He's not. He wasn't a big factor in the championship run last year. He wasn't a big factor in the championship run this year. He's really good when he's available. But truthfully, the ship has sailed with Porzingis. And then Al Horford, of course, we're paying Al Horford. And he's a very solid player, but the man is 40 years old. He's going to either have to take some kind of pay cut or we're going to have to get rid of him. But next season is going to be what I think a retooling. And it doesn't mean the championship window is closed completely. It just means with this current roster, it's pretty much closed. Because missing Tatum for what's likely going to be most, if not all, of next season is it's just not going to work out.
If they do retool, I'm very interested to see what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Do they probably try to get another stretch big? I don't imagine they'd go out there and grab a traditional big. That would just like ruin everything and like how they like to play.
Yeah.
So I'd be really interested to see how they retool. I think that'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even think regardless of like the injury, I mean, we all expected that they're one of those guys, or even both of them, Porzingis and Drew Holiday, were gonna walk, or that they were gonna let them walk.
Yeah. And they were I think both those guys were brought in with the intention of like we have to win a championship within the next year to 2 years. They definitely weren't going to be there for the long term. Derek White is. But yeah, I didn't really
Yeah.
see Holiday and Porzingis being in Boston for like more than like 4 years, 3 years.
Yeah, Drew's under contract till 2027 with a player option for 2028. And then Porzingis is under contract until 2026. So it's going to have to be a trade this offseason. So I'm just really wondering who's going to want him and what we're going to get back for him. So we'll see. Uh, but Brad Stevens, I know, is up in that office making something happen. He's probably already making calls, truthfully.
Tampering.
Is that considered tampering? Calling while the season is still happening? How does that
Honestly,
work?
I'm not sure
I don't know.
because you know damn well LeBron does it throughout the whole year and they never get him
That's what
for
I'm
it.
saying. Yeah,
It depends who you are.
I
Who's
think
doing
it.
the
true.
tampering?
I think it also depends on if you get caught doing it or not. Because I remember there was tampering with like Giannis and Curry talking after games, and people would be like, "Oh my God, those two are tampering. They're gonna team up." Blah blah blah. And that's like the tampering that I've seen, or like what it's classified under is like when you're talking to opponent and you're trying to get them on your team or try to recruit them to your team during the season.
I don't know why, but the Nico Harrison Rob Pelinka meeting just seems like tampering, even if it
Oh yeah.
isn't. That just feels like they didn't tell anyone. They went and sat down for coffee. Like, I don't know. Something about that just seems shady. It just seems
And then,
shady.
and then Rob Pelinka said, "Hey, you should give me Luca." LOL. And then he freaking did it.
Yeah, that situation, like even with the like pick just falling to the Mavericks now, it definitely does seem like a little bit set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always find a way to go back to the Luca trade.
I know. I was just about to say how many months has it been now? It's been February, March,
3.
April, May. 3 months, and we're still here talking about it. That's 12
Even worse, he
episodes.
went to the Lakers too, which they always find a way to squeeze in our episodes.
Yeah, that is true. We haven't talked about Ben Simmons in a while. Speaking of the Celtics retooling, there's a report out that the Celtics are looking to get Ben Simmons.
Nice.
Everybody wants a piece of that, it seems like.
That's our that's the GMLB logo player, the GMLB mascot,
He like didn't play at all in the series against Denver.
and he had braids.
It's crazy.
Um, but yeah, let's let's move on here. Uh, uh, yeah, Tatum. It sucks. It sucks that you're injured. Um, but we'll persevere. We all wish Tatum a speedy and healthy recovery. But let's move into our conference finals matchups here, fellas. First off, let's establish so we can talk about what we think the conference finals are going to be. We already know the Pacers are there. I'm assuming we're all taking the Knicks, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Pacers, Knicks. Now, I'm not like fully Knicks side. I do have faith in the Celtics still, but for the sake of this podcast, I will go Knicks. Just making that clear right here. So if they do come back, I have covered my bases. Western Conference Finals, fellas. Do we think it's going to be Thunder or Nuggets? I've had the
Oh,
Thunder from the start. I think
I've
it's the Thunder.
I really want the Nuggets to win, but I think it's gonna be the Thunder.
MPJ
Man.
7 points last game.
Yeah, that's just awful. I mean, like, can't be doing that. But game 6 is in Denver. I think it's going to 7 for sure. It's going to 7 for sure. And if Denver can just find a way to just beast mode and use their experience to just put this freaking team away, it's very possible. But they have a very too difficult game stretch coming up for them. For the sake of conversation. And now I do believe it a little bit. I think Denver might come on top.
So Denver. Okay, well we could shift that argument. On the other side, we're all taking the Wolves, I assume.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does anybody know, is Curry playing tonight?
He's
I
not
haven't
coming
checked
back
the
till game
injury.
6.
Okay, that's
If
good.
there's a game 6.
Hopefully they cook them tonight. The Wolves, I mean. But okay, so let's talk Eastern Conference Finals. Pacers Knicks. First of all, Tyrese Halliburton, the reincarnation of Reggie Miller. I think how New York reacted to Trae Young, I think you take that, multiply it by 10, and that's how it's going to be for Tyrese Halliburton.
Dude, I don't know. I saw a video the other day and they were still doing the F Trey Young chants. I'm serious. I think they're gonna
It's
give those
insane.
chants even after a game in New York, just cause they're still saying the F Trey Young chants. It's so funny,
Man.
and it's like it's not like 3 or 4 people saying it in the crowd. No, it's the entire crowd. I don't know if they'll ever hate Halliburton more than Trey Young.
We also have Reggie Miller on the call for this series. So you got Reggie Miller on the call and Tyrese Halliburton on the floor. Now, we've talked on this podcast before that the Pacers talk a special kind of trash, Halliburton included. It seems like everyone wants to beef with Tyrese Halliburton. And for that reason, I kind of think he's the guy for the job this series. I think he's up to it. I think he'll perform well in this series. I really do.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. What I've seen from the Pacers this playoffs, I've been really impressed with. They're honestly my favorite team to watch. That Bucks series was phenomenal. What they did to them, what they did to the Cavs, being a 68 win team, absolutely gentlemen sweeping them.
Well,
And
injuries. Don't forget the injuries.
yeah, the injuries too, but still, man. I mean, they just played pretty like their offense was really good, fast. It was hard for the Cavs to keep up with. They had that comeback. Um, they were playing good defensively. I don't know what I and then they press full court. They're just hungry, man. I really think this team wants it more than a lot of these teams that I've seen in the playoffs.
They are on fire right now. They're playing pretty freaking good. They've only lost 2 games up to this point in both of their series combined. It's going to be a good series against the Knicks. They might wear them out because they have a pretty deep rotation as well. The Knicks do not. We're gonna some in a 48-minute game, Brunson and Mikal are somehow gonna find a way to play 56 minutes. Tom Thibodeau will somehow find a way to have them do that. They've stayed healthy this far. Knock on wood there. I don't want to jinx anything for the New York fans out there. But dude, it's gonna be a fast series. It's gonna be physical. There's gonna be trash talk. It's gonna be a classic Indiana New York series. And I'm so excited about it. I actually can't wait. I will absolutely be catching a game with or without y'all. Sorry. But dude, as far as who I have winning the series, I don't know if we're getting that deep into the topic yet, but whoever wins game 3 will win the series.
I could tell there was no basis for that take other than you just kind of thought that on the spot.
That one, no, it makes sense. It kind of works out.
Yeah.
I've said that before in previous episodes. Whoever wins this game is going to win the series.
I remember that, but I don't remember what the series was and what game it was. I do remember you perfectly predicted James Harden's stats though, that one game. You said Clippers win by 20 plus, Harden has 20 and 9, and both of those were right, or all three of those were right. Like spot on. That was a good prediction.
Yeah.
Bro, so humble. So humble.
Who do you
Um,
got winning, Miles? Or like,
Pace,
what's your thoughts on this series?
I have the Pacers going to the finals. I think that offensively, Cleveland was one of the best. Actually, are they the best? No, they were not. So in the playoffs, Cleveland was sixth in defensive rating. Um, I guess that doesn't really mean much because it's so skewed.
They
But
played Miami.
yeah, it's like it's so skewed. So I won't even start that argument. But they
Should have
played
been
Cleveland.
first, considering
Yeah.
that.
We know Cleveland is a top tier defensive team, better than New York. Like they're a better defensive team than New York. And I mean, they have the defensive player of the year on the squad. That also helps, even if he was injured this series. But not to take away from the Pacers, because I do have them going to the finals. I think that Cleveland victory, injured or not, was worth a lot of value. I think they completely dismantled the Bucks. The Bucks had no shot at beating them. And I, frankly, if you want just eye test take, I think the Pacers play way too fast for the Knicks to even keep up with. Similar to what Kevin said, I think I really agree that the Pacers are going to wear the Knicks down with the amount of minutes this team has played. Um, I know that's always the argument against the Knicks, but I really do think the wheels are going to fall off against the Pacers. This team plays so fast. They're second in offensive rating right now in the playoffs. They, I just think the sky's the limit for them. They're also hot coming into the series. The Knicks, again, rely way too much on Jalen Brunson in crunch time. The Pacers, it's a full team effort. I mean, you got 7 guys dropping double figures. It's gonna be my my prediction. I know you didn't ask for a prediction, but I want to give one. I'm gonna go Pacers in 6. Pacers in 6.
Crazy thing is, too, New York is still playing.
That's true.
If they play 2 or 3 more games, that'll catch up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when last year, that's when the Knicks started to break down, and the second round was against the Pacers. That's when I think Josh Hart got that injury with, I think it was his abdominal injury. And then I don't remember who else went down that series.
OG
Everyone.
and Brunson.
OG, yeah.
Randall was already hurt. Mitch Robinson was already hurt.
But yeah, like you guys said, man, I really do not believe the Knicks can keep up with that offense. They're just way too fast. I like the point you brought up with them playing more of a team basketball as compared to the Knicks being like more Jalen Brunson centered around him in that offense. And dude, like Benedict Mathurin has been phenomenal watching him. Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nemhard, everybody's been eating on that Pacers team, and it's been really fun to watch. I got Pacers in 5.
Hmm.
The Pacers are going to the freaking finals. Put my teeth on the curb and step on the back of my head.
We've been hating on them all season.
This is horse crap that this poverty franchise is going to the finals before mine.
Fellas, we are from Indiana. We could literally watch this team. We could, bro. Nah, we're planning some reels out. I'm bringing the TikTok mic to the rally when the
Yeah,
Pacers
we
win the
should.
chip. We're bringing the TikTok mics out. We're interviewing
I'll do
fans.
I'll do it for the conference finals. Miles recorded me. I'll go out there. I'll start some stuff with the
I just
Naptown crazies.
can we just take a second to realize how insane it is if either of these teams make the finals? Tyrese Halliburton has already made the finals if they go. Like, that's insane. Bro, the Kings. The Kings are going to drop to their knees in a Walmart parking lot, realizing they traded Tyrese Halliburton.
That'd be insane. It like you said, the Knicks too. The Knicks in the finals
The,
doesn't even sound right.
the Knicks, we don't even have to go into, bro. Just like MSG in the finals, I can't even imagine, bro.
Hey, neither can they. Nobody can. It's never
That
happened.
place is gonna shake, dude.
Dude,
Actually shake.
it's probably gonna be 100 grand a ticket for courtside. That should be freaking. You should be put in jail if you buy a ticket for that much. That is
Okay, but a game at
ridiculous.
MSG is like who's sitting courtside though?
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller,
Timothy
Timothy Chalamet,
Chalamet.
people to where that ticket price is a drop in the bucket.
Spike Lee.
That those tickets aren't for general managers at Wawa. They're for the movie stars.
I cannot
Spike
be
Lee and
sweeping
them.
at. I
So
Spike
cannot be
Lee and his
sweeping
four
at
homies.
Wendy's.
it should be
Spike Lee and his
illegal.
four homies that nobody knows. They're just friends with Spike Lee.
Frequency vibrations after he gets a contract. If you know, you know.
Brez. Is this the president
Uh,
of basketball? Please tell me you
yeah,
remember that cutscene.
of course I remember that cutscene. Um, if you know, drop some in the comments if you know what we just referenced. Um, the Pacers just also their assist to turnover ratio is such a difference maker, bro. They're leading the playoffs 21.3. The amount of assists this team gets and they don't turn the ball over. Dude, they're just like how I don't think the Knicks can just like rotate the way like Carl Anthony Towns, we've talked about this man having a board taped to his back where he can't stand up or can't move fast. He's always got the hunchback. You're going to put Carl Anthony Towns on the wing to defend Miles Turner. The ball's going to be flying all over the court. This team, I seriously do not think can keep up. They're going to break down. Brunson's going to have to be forced to play defense. He's not guarding Drew Holiday anymore. He's going to be guarding the primary ball handler. Actually, maybe not. They might put him on Nemhard.
That's what I thought.
Mm,
I think they put Brunson on Nemhard. Probably
maybe
either
Neesmith.
Josh Hart or OG on Halliburton. I feel like they'd put Josh Hart on
I feel
Halliburton.
like they're going to put Bridges just because he's more nimble. And all Tyrese Halliburton wants to do is get in the paint. I like that, but still, I mean, Tyrese Halliburton's game, he's not a score first guy. His job is to get in the paint, swing out. And I mean, that's harder to
Yeah.
guard arguably than someone who could go to the basket and score.
I was gonna say, I feel like if it's anybody that can keep him out of the paint the best, you might have to put the solid body of OG on him
Yeah.
for the
That's
sake
what
of
I was
strength.
thinking.
Well, I'm thinking
But it
OG's
could
gonna
be
have to
Mikel
guard.
though, because Mikel's
OG's gonna
faster.
have to stick Siakam.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Mikel's guarding Halliburton.
And who's
Yeah,
guarding Nemhard?
Brunson.
Probably Brunson. Then again, Nemhard's not going to go out there and freaking ISO and score like that. Or maybe he is. I don't know.
They might put Brunson on Neesmith, but there's kind of a size advantage for Neesmith there.
I think he's
Yeah.
too athletic for Brunson too.
I just know Nemhard looks to score more, so it's putting more pressure on Brunson if he guards Nemhard. But physically, it makes more sense for him to guard Nemhard. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But honestly, all these guys run around the court. Everyone on the Knicks, when you're on the floor, you're going to have to sit in the chair a little bit.
Uh, okay, so predictions here. I can't wait to make a reel of like each of our full playoff predictions and how many we got right and wrong. That'll be an interesting pod reel. But predictions here. I have Pacers in 6. Vic, you said Pacers in 5. Kev, what did you have?
I'll probably go with mm, give me Naptown in 7.
Pacers in 7. I like it. All right, let's move on to the West here. So, hypothetically, since we didn't agree on who is going to the Western Conference Finals, but we can all agree on the Wolves are likely the candidates to go to the Western Conference Finals. Do we think Okay, let's actually do it this way. Who has a better chance of beating the Wolves, the Thunder or the Nuggets?
Better chance, I would probably say the Thunder, but I think both of those teams beat the Wolves in the conference finals.
I would say the Thunder as well. I actually think if the Nuggets play the Timberwolves, I think the Timberwolves would go to the finals.
Hmm.
I don't know. They're barely beating the Warriors without Curry. Like they're winning by like 4 points, 5 points
I'm just
against Draymond Green, Pods, Buddy Hield. They're barely
Mo-
beating that.
Moses Moody, Quentin
Moses
Post.
Moody. And the only reason the Timberwolves were able to beat Denver last year is because they had Gobert and Cat. They got rid of the personnel that made them able to beat Denver.
Hold
it
on,
just
Julius Randle, clamp LeBron.
it just doesn't make it just doesn't make sense to me for the Nuggets to win because if they if they say let's say they win against the Thunder, they would have to force a game 7 and win. They play two back-to-back game 7 series, then they're going to play the Timberwolves. And then what is that? Didn't last year go to game 7? So it might be the same thing again. That's 3 series game 7s. I just don't see that happening for the Nuggets to win.
I don't know, dude. They don't get plagued with injuries a whole ton as Michael Porter Jr. is injured, but he's still playing.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say. Well,
he's still
besides
on.
him,
He's on the floor. He's on the floor.
yeah.
Also, the team is very well conditioned. Like these,
For
they move
sure.
pretty well. They get up and down the court pretty well. I think. I mean, like I said, like last year, the Timberwolves had the perfect team. That team was built to beat Denver, but they don't have Cat anymore, and he was like the key piece as to why they were able to compete with Denver and beat them. And Denver just folded in one of those games. I think it was game 7. They were like up 20 at half, and then the T-Wolves just came back and sent them packing. That shouldn't have happened. It did, but it shouldn't have. It was trifling.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I mean, this Wolves team, they're not looking too great in the playoffs. Like, to be honest, I haven't really seen too much from them. And like I mentioned, they're barely beating the Warriors without Curry. It's just kind of just, I don't know. I think there's levels to it, and they're not on it as much as Denver and the Thunder are.
I just know that every time Jokic plays Gobert, bro has a career night. And for that reason alone, I think that Denver has a shot. I do think the Wolves would beat the Denver Nuggets. But I do have the Thunder winning against the Nuggets, so my hypothetical conference finals would be the Thunder Wolves. And I just, for the Wolves, man, I think, who'd they play first round? Who was it? Why am I
Oh,
blanking?
they play the
Who was it?
Lakers.
Lakers.
Lakers. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the Lakers were an easy matchup, but they beat them in 5. And this Lakers team was not clearly way above their heads in the standings. They were not a third seed team. They simply got hot at the end of the season. They did not have the roster needed around Luka Doncic to actually compete for a title. Then we go into series 2. We're playing the Warriors without Stephen Curry. The Warriors themselves were a playing team. We the Warriors themselves seem like a team that's kind of just way in over their heads as well. And the Wolves are probably gonna take them in 5. I'm not convinced that the Wolves are ready to win yet. Like they're not a championship roster. The way things have gone, it's been so polarizing this whole season. I I don't think they're a championship roster. I don't think they have what it takes. Defensively, they have lapses. Offensively, I mean, you pick the game. Sometimes Ant is great. Sometimes Ant is not great. And if you're playing the Thunder defense with all of these young athletes, great on ball defenders all around, I just don't see Ant having a good series. And if he's not going to have a good series and they're kind of not built to win yet, I don't see them winning. I think the Thunder beat them and probably, I want to say 5, and I'm going to say 6, just because Ant could have a monster game and Randall could pair with him for one game, and then yeah.
Hard to disagree with that one there. I'm in. Obviously, Minnesota making it. I really don't see them beating either of those two teams. Like, I think I've kind of spoke my piece there. I think they're just on different levels. Yeah, I just haven't seen a lot from the Wolves this whole like entire season and in this playoffs. Like, I'm in the first series against the Lakers. Anytime Luka was on the floor, they were basically playing 5-on-4. And now they're playing 5-on-3 with Draymond and Pods on the floor. No way I lagged.
No,
Keep going. We hear your audio fine. Your video just cut.
Oh, not really much else to say. I think whoever wins the series between Denver and OKC is going to the finals.
We're gonna have to put the there he is. I was gonna
yeah.
say we're gonna have to put the polar bear with headphones on one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing, Denver continues to surprise me because on paper, bro, it does not look like they have the depth to like even be as far as they are now. Like
They don't.
taking yeah, it's like
They play 6 people.
Westbrook has, and that was like the Mike Malone special. Mike Malone's kind of always been like that, but Mike Malone's not the coach, and it's still kind of carrying, which shows you just don't have that much depth. Russell Westbrook he's having a good playoffs, but we know how polarizing Westbrook could be. Uh, and then like Peyton Watson, is that the bench? Am I missing someone?
Julian Strother, they played last night.
They played him last night, but he hasn't been getting tick during the playoffs. That was more of an adjustment.
That's like the past 2 games I've seen him get in for like a
Yeah.
little bit to shoot a 3 or 2, and then he's pisses off to the bench.
I really hope I'm not discrediting someone who plays heavy minutes, but I really don't think I'm missing
No, we're not.
anyone.
Like
So
I said 6-man rotation at first, but I was like, oh no, wait, Peyton Watson does get in. Like he's getting
Hmm.
minutes. That's it.
yeah, they played the 8-man rotation last night with the 5 starters and then Westbrook, Watson, and Strother, like we said.
Yeah, so I just don't understand how they've made it this far. Like
Just
to be,
Aaron
it's
Gordon
Good facts.
having a generational playoff run. Murray
that's so
always
true.
being a playoff riser, and there's Jokic, obviously.
Yeah.
Just guys stepped up. Like
Dude,
I
the
guess when they won the chip, like they played an 8-man rotation, but that was also like Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, like
and
Reggie.
Reggie Jackson.
and Reggie Jackson. Yeah, this wasn't like this isn't Peyton Watson who literally can't hit the board if he's shot in front of it, and then Russell Westbrook. Like it's just so weird. It's so weird.
This is really random, but since you brought up Bruce Brown, it reminded me of it. He was at a Denver Nuggets playoff game and he was sitting courtside, and a reporter came up to him and asked him, he's like, "Man, I just really want to play playoff basketball again." And she was like, "What are the chances you sign back here to Denver Nuggets?" And he was like, "I mean, it's a possibility. I'm a free agent, so we could see a reunion."
Well, the problem is Bruce Brown is not half of the player he was when he was on the
Yeah,
Nuggets. I mean, he spent probably 4 months straight wearing a cowboy hat on the Toronto Raptors bench.
that's his default.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
Did he sign with the Pacers after they won the championship?
And then they traded him.
And then they traded him for Pascal Siakam.
And
Yeah, I
now
was
But
thinking
he's on the Pelicans.
yeah. It's I just
jeez.
he's not the same player. But um yeah, I'm surprised that they won against the Clippers. I think they got by the skin of their teeth in that series. It also took a Harden disaster class for them to pull that off. Um, Credit to them for playing good defense. Obviously, it's not Harden being bad. They obviously contributed to why he was bad, but I just didn't even see them getting more than one game on the Thunder. And here we are.
Realistically, they should be up 3-1.
That's yeah, that's true. That's true. I just like how are they doing it? It's just Jokic. It's Jokic's greatness.
But dude, the Thunder have been playing pretty good defense on Jokic because I know a couple of games he was struggling to shoot the ball
He
efficiently.
was.
I think it was like 3 games in a row, and then last night he had that 44-point game.
Mm. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't got much more to say. I think I think the Thunder win that series, and then I think they'll beat the Wolves, and it'll be Thunder Pacers finals.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's crazy.
You know what this reminds me of? Not to be like the guy who just talks about the Celtics because he's a Celtics fan, but y'all remember in 2022 when the Celtics started off like 500 at the All-Star break? They were 500, and then Jaylen Brown tweeted, "The energy is shifting," and then they went to the finals. That's kind of what happened to the Pacers this year. Like they were doing really bad at the beginning of the season. Tyrese Halliburton was struggling, and then post All-Star break, they just found their footing. But if they follow the same trajectory, they'll lose in the finals, which I kind of think is inevitable. But we've seen the Thunder lose games. Like we've seen Shea have bad games this playoff, so you never know.
They did start off pretty bad. Now that you mentioned it, I kind of forgot about that. I
Think
mean, the NBA Cup game I went to, they lost to the Heat without Jimmy Butler. He was out with
That's
injury.
so unfortunate you went to that game.
Yeah, and I saw Bam get a triple double. It was stupid, but great game, great seats, cheap. But like, yeah, the fact that the Thunder and the Pacers are in the good matchup with each other, very good possibility they match up with each other in the NBA Finals is wild. And it's not the Thunder or Pacer teams with KD, Harden, or like Paul George and Danny Granger for Indiana.
Yeah, that might be the most fast-paced basketball I've ever seen in my life if they go to the finals.
dude, yeah. So
I
if you
think the
watch the,
scores go ahead.
so if you like watching that Chino Hills 2016.
Yeah, the scores are going to be like 140 to 150 like every game. Not actually, but it's an exaggeration.
Could either be really good or really horrible to watch.
True. The amount of Shea free throws will be unimaginable. All right, well, I think that's enough. Fellas, we got any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
If the Nuggets win, it's gonna be Timberwolves in 6. If the if the Thunder win, it's gonna be Thunder in 5.
So you think the Pacers have zero chance at winning the championship?
Oh, I was just saying for the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, let's
'Cause
say either Denver. It's going to be either Denver or OKC that goes. I think whichever team plays the Timberwolves, they get it done in 5.
When the Thunder win, it'll be Thunder in 6 against the Wolves. All right. GMLB family, we thank you all for being here once again. If you want to view the podcast in its full with video, you can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, where we have the full length pod. If not, if you like watching shorts and interactive games, we are on YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikTok, and I'm missing one, Snapchat. We are on Snapchat as well, at GMLB Pod. If you want to email the show, we have our email. We read all emails on the show. That is gmlbfans@gmail.com. Email the show. It's been a while. We miss talking to the fans. And with that being said, GMLB family, we thank you all for being here.